Welcome back to the channel. In this video, we'll be looking at the psychology at play when it comes to making money, keeping it, and investing it. This video is a summary of the lessons in The Psychology of Money by Morgan Housel. Alright, let's dive straight into it. When it comes to investing, behavior is greater than smarts. A genius who loses control of their emotion can be a financial disaster. Conversely, ordinary folks with no financial education can be wealthy if they have a handful of behavioral skills that have nothing to do with formal measures of intelligence. Enters Ronald James Reed, the janitor and gas station attendant who died with 8 million to his name. Yup, you heard that right. Reed fixed cars at a gas station for 25 years and swept floors at JCPenney for 17 years. He bought a 2-bedroom house for $12,000 at age 38 and lived there for the rest of his life. He was widowed at age 50 and never remarried. His main hobby was chopping wood. Reed died at age 92. Which is when the humble janitor made national headlines. He had over 8 million to his name. He left 2 million to his kids and 6 million to his local library and hospital. His behavior? There were no secrets. He did not win the lottery. He saved what little he could and invested it in blue chip stocks. Then he waited for decades for his tiny savings to compound into $8 million. His formula was simple. Save, invest in non-risky assets, wait for compounding to kick in. Compare him to Richard Fuscon, a greedy, Harvard-educated Merrill Lynch executive. Fuscon was so successful that he retired at age 40. Business Magazine included him in the 40 under 40 list of successful business people. In mid-2000, Fuscon borrowed massively to expand his mansion that already had 11 bathrooms, 2 elevators, 2 pools, and 7 garages, and cost more than $90,000 a month to maintain. Then the financial crisis hit in 2008 and he went bankrupt. Ronald James Reed was patient and the well-educated Richard Fuscon was greedy and lost all his money. Here, behavior was greater than smarts. Extraordinary things can happen in investment. In what other field do you hear that a janitor outperforms an executive with an MBA? Financial success is not hard science. It's a soft skill where how you behave is more important than what you know. Are some people crazy then for not behaving the right way when it comes to investing? The simple answer is no. No one is crazy. It comes down to the environment you were brought up in. People from different generations, raised by different parents, who earn different incomes with different values, in different parts of the world, with different economies, experiencing different job markets with different incentives and different degree of luck, learn very different lessons. Everyone has their own unique experience with how the world works. So we each have a view of how money works, and that view varies from person to person. How much risk an investor is willing to take on will depend on their personal history. Every decision people make with money is justified by taking the information they have at that moment and plugging it into their unique mental model of how the world works. Every financial decision a person makes sense to them. They tell themselves a story about what they're doing and why they're doing it. And that story has been shaped by their own unique experience. What may seem crazy to you might seem normal to your neighbor. Let's take a simple example. Lottery tickets. Lowest income household in the US spend more than $400 on lottery tickets, which is 4 times more than those in the highest income group spend on lottery. Combine this with the fact that more than 1/3 of Americans cannot come up with $400 in an emergency. So these people are spending their emergency buffer on lottery tickets? Seems crazy, right? It's hard for us to grasp what's happening in their head though. But we could imagine it might be something like this. If I don't put this money in lottery ticket, I might be missing on the big win that has the potential to change my life and allow me to stop working from paycheck to paycheck, send my kids to college, retire early. It's a different perspective brought on by the environment they live in. Buying a lottery ticket here is buying into the dream many of us is already living. It's their way of hoping. Not so crazy after all, right? Few people make financial decisions with a spreadsheet. Most make it at the dinner table or in company meetings. Places where personal history, unique view of the world, egos, pride, marketing scramble into a narrative that works for you. So let's hold back our judgment against one another. Never enough. Get rid of the never enough mentality, as it will lead you to ruins. Social comparison is a problem. Envy from comparison will get you to do foolish things, act on insider information, bet all your money on one stock, and lose it all as the company fails. Accept that enough is enough and stop keeping up with the Joneses. There is no reason to risk what you have and need for what you don't have and you don't need. The hardest financial skill is to get the goalpost to stop moving. Enough is realizing that an insatiable appetite for more will push you to the point of regret. There will always be someone who has more than you. Modern capitalism is a pro at two things: generating wealth and generating envy. Happiness, though, is results minus expectations. So match your expectations with your results to keep you off the road that leads to ruins. Grasping compounding. Quoted from The Psychology of Money. 81.5 billion of Warren Buffett's 84.5 billion net worth came after his 65th birthday. That is 96% of his wealth. How, I hear you ask, enters the power of compounding. And of course, patient, good decision, and the pursuit of knowledge. But let's talk compounding. A water lily in a pond. Let's assume it's now 1 p.m. The number of water lily double in quantity every minute. In 1 hour, the pond is full of water lilies. At what time is the pond half full of water lilies? Come on, give it a go. Press pause and give it a go. Have a think. The answer? 1:59 p.m. At 1:59 p.m., the pond is half full of water lilies. At 2 p.m., the quantity of water lilies doubles and fills up the pond. This is the counterintuitive power of exponential growth, which compounding is based off. The first rule of compounding is to never interrupt it unnecessarily. Charlie Munger. Too often, investors interrupt compounding by jumping in and out of the market while attempting to boost their returns. Good investing is not necessarily about earning the highest return, because the highest returns tend to be the one-off hits that cannot be repeated, and they usually come at a high risk. Good investing is about pretty good return that you can stick with, and which can be repeated for the longest time for compounding to kick in. Thus, money success in one word is survival. You must not pursue any strategy that would put you out of the game in one go. Patience is key, meaning don't put all your cash on the one thing that has the chance to go down and make you go bust in the process. Be always afraid to go out of business. Compounding only works if you can give an asset years and years to grow. Survival gives longevity. Avoid ruin at all costs. Stick around for long enough for compounding to work wonders. No one is impressed with your possessions as much as you are. Here is the man in the sports car paradox. The paradox of the man in the sport car is that you believe that if you were the man in the nice, shiny looking sport car, people would look at you and admire you. But you do this while ignoring the man in the actual car. So that is the paradox of the man in the sport car. No one gives a crap about your possessions except you. So stop buying to impress people if that's your vibe. Spending money to show people how much of it you have is the fastest way to have, well, less money. People with enduring financial success, not necessarily the highest income, tend to have a propensity to not give a damn about what others think of them. So live simply, save, invest, and buy back your time. And until next time, my friend, take care.